Part of the jolt that we expected in last Friday's eclipse was that up-close and personal warrior Mars who was paired with the moon. And perhaps it was an astrologer who took this eclipse photo because that image captures the energy perfectly. Warrior Mars is definitely the just do it energy of the zodiac, and here Nike, the goddess of victory, appears awakened and going for that eclipse, that blood moon that we had last Friday. She is ready for anything and actually ready for a fight, and that might describe how a lot of us feel. We're still catching our breath and scratching our heads after that powerful eclipse, but it was the second in a trio of 3, so we have another one coming August the 11th. But before I get into that, we're going to do a little Monday morning quarterbacking. So hi, I'm Judith Royal, archetypal astrologer, and this is your astrology weather forecast for the week of July 30th to August the 5th, 2018. Now, every full moon, we expect that something is going to be illuminated that we have never seen before. And I don't know that we've never seen it before because there is a little bit of deja vu in the headlines. But let me say that the eclipse last week did echo back to 2003 because the reason we are having so much of this merry-go-round energy, that energy of just the world spinning so fast that I want to get off, well, we have all that because Mars was paired with that moon and because Mars was so close in his orbit to the Earth. So this happened once before in 2003, which was when it was at the time that President Bush declared war on Iraq. And that was basically a blatant lying to the American people about that so-called weapons of mass destruction. Now, it's the second flyby that we've just had, and we don't, thank goodness, have a president declaring war. However, this one is in a different energy because Mars is now in humanitarian Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius. So we are really looking for the peace that we have within us, I hope, most of the time, and certainly the peace that we would therefore like to see in the world outside of us. I found this sign on the internet, this weapon of mass deception, and I added the astrological interpretation of that as far as I can see it. The thing is, last time I was talking about we are really with Mars in Aquarius, we have an emphasis or a spotlight on our moral compass. What is it really? Is it true that it's a natural feeling that everybody has that tells us what is really the right thing to do and what is not? Certainly, I can make a case for the fact that I often violated that, and I often see people I know and love violate that. So it's not a perfect thing to begin with. However, when we deliberately ignore it with lies and cover-ups, sort of feels like we're having in the White House a resurgence of that old 1989 movie, Sex, Lies, and Videotapes, right? And when an image or an idea like that is coming around so clearly in another loop, then we know that we missed something the first time, and so we're getting to deal with it again. The astrology of this, I think, is that Mars with the moon at the very best is frustration, right? meaning that whatever Nike energy you have, whatever warrior energy, fierceness, or fighting, if anyone has had it repressed, where you tried to smile when you were really pissed off or something like that, what's happening now is it's leaking out everywhere if it was held in, and it isn't leaking in any expected ways, even for the person themselves. It's like turning a faucet really tight because it had a little leak or drip, and you turn it tight and tight until the pipes behind it start to burst. And that's a little bit what's happening. Plus, we have Jupiter in the mix here. Justice Jupiter, I could also call him, because Jupiter does rule the law, because it's the energy of the higher mind and the higher courts. So Jupiter now in Scorpio, you may remember I've been talking about that energy as the whistleblower, meaning in Scorpio, that energy has gone to get really to the bottom line. What's really happening? What's happening with us in our own lives, and then what's happening in the outer world. And after finding the truth of that bottom line, then Jupiter is really blowing the whistle and telling it, but not in a direct or not in a way that you can see it coming. So I put in there that if you see it, say it, because that's another motto that we have running around now. And I believe that is really happening. I have to say, the late night comedy shows, I do watch some of those clips and shows because it is really good, I think, to laugh at some of the shenanigans going on in the world. And even though we have all this serious Saturn, and the sheriff Saturn in Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn, etc., and we are taking things seriously, but at the same time, we are really seeing the humor in it, and I think that's really going to help us. In answering that question, why am I here? Who am I really? And that is before us all right now, because we are on a hero's quest, a heroine's quest, because we're either going to make the space for creative change in our lives, or circumstances that we've been putting up with that were limiting us somehow, those circumstances have now become intolerable. So that itchy frustration is coming at us and within us, both from this Mars with the moon and the eclipse, and also ongoing from the god of lightning, Uranus, who in Taurus is the one asking us to reevaluate what we value, what really is important to you and why. And in Taurus, it has to do with what makes you feel safe in this world. And believe me, the answer you've had up until now is not it, because Uranus is always out of the box thinking. So we are really having to start fresh, start brand new in thinking about our values. The revolt is likely to come in our closest relationships, the people who are with us on a daily basis, for example, because we may be much more easily angered than we ordinarily might be. So to avoid this, you need to assert yourself, really speak up for yourself in a way that you never have before. And yourself, by yourself, I mean that part of us that is authentically who we are, not some role that we play in our job or even a gender role. It's the soul's voice wanting to come out. with Mars, it's sort of like the eruption of lava that we're seeing now in Hawaii. It just keeps coming and coming. And for a lot of people, they have been through difficult times, strenuous financial times, and other things. And really, they're fed up. People have had enough. So let's take a quick look at last week on Wednesday, because remember I said it was Messenger Mercury's day. It's the day for communications. But last week it was the day that Mercury went retrograde. So we had some bumbling around in communications. And we had that unexpected, in the U.S., we had that unexpected revelation of a tape from a whistleblower in in the president's inner circle. So this is some of that repressed need to know that has been going on for a very long time, since Trump took office. But you want to see that is a projection of also what is going on inside of us. Where have we kept some long-held secret, or actually, I think it would be more accurate to say some long-held lie that, we taught ourselves to believe? So it's nothing malicious about that, really. It's just we all tell ourselves lies that we're repeating by rote from something we learned or something we were told, and we just never examined it, right? And it's especially true now that any way in which you judge yourself as unlovable or unworthy, that is a lie you are telling yourself. And through that delusion is all the pain we have in this world. So that's a really good thing to blow the whistle on, is it not? This week, we're in the third quarter phase, the final phase in the moon cycle that began with the new moon, which was also a solar eclipse in Cancer on July the 12th. So that was the first of these three eclipses. And this week, that third quarter moon will be in the sign of earthy Taurus. And remember, the god of lightning is in Taurus also. And so we're going to have an alignment of that is going to be such excitement, but really in a good way, in the sense that our emotions are going to get a refresh. And are definitely going to change. And if you weren't careful, that could be big mood swings, but that's not what's going to happen for you. So we start the week on Monday with a really beautiful start. And this is for us personally, right? Not necessarily in the outer world. But the moon is in sweetly compassionate Pisces on Monday and also Tuesday. And she is making a beautiful harmony with the other water signs we have now, meaning Jupiter, who is in the water sign of Scorpio. And those of you who are water signs, you start this week in a beautiful, compassionate and poetic and a little bit daydreamy mood. And it's really your week in other ways too, because the third quarter moon in Taurus, Earth holds water. And so that is very compatible with you. Likewise, for those of you who are earth signs, the Pisces water is something that you love to enjoy and to hold within yourself. So Monday and Tuesday, I don't know that they're quiet, but they certainly have the potential for spiritual understandings and as you know, we have to have spiritual solutions to the problems before us now, because the old ways certain of solving problems are clearly not working, right? So then we're slipping into the month of August. So August 1st is coming. That comes this Wednesday, the Communications Day, and it's going to come with a lightning bolt of news and messages that, well, last Wednesday was quite the thing, right? But this Wednesday, even more so. And why do I say that? Because we're going to start with an Aries moon, that fiery Aries moon. But she's going to get into sort of a tense struggle with all of the rules and the seriousness of Saturn. So that is going to be a real struggle inside ourselves. Perhaps we feel some of the rules in our lives are restricting us. At the same time, that Aries moon is going to make a beautiful harmony with the Leo sun. So the bigger umbrella is probably going to see us through with some love of life and some happy spirits out there. Yes. So Mars is going to be in the act on this Wednesday as well, making a tense square with the god of lightning. So it's sort of like those dust storms that are happening on Mars, all that orange dust flying around, and we can't see what's on the real surface. So that kind of stirring up, for us, is going to appear as a time of restlessness. The rebel inside all of us, who wants to fight against the places where we have imprisoned our own selves with those self-taught lies, that we're just over it, right? We're determined to be free from our own delusions, from our own illusions. I think, well, human beings, we've always searched for the truth. It's in all of our literature and poetry, and it's in our hearts. But we really didn't have all the tools to raise the veil of illusion until now, when we have on the world stage such a dichotomy, such a contrast between truth and lies. Everybody talking about fake news and fake everything, right? In other words, in a benevolent way, the universe has blown this issue up in such magnitude. It's so we can really see it. And likewise, so-called problems within yourself, blow it up. Take a look at it in its biggest form that you can imagine, because then you'll really see the contrast between truth and lies you're telling yourself. On August 2nd, Thursday, Jupiter's Day, we still have the Aries moon, so it's going to be hot and fiery with that Leo sun as well. But there's a square to Pluto, Lord of the underworld. And remember, Pluto's in earthy Capricorn. He's in no hurry to do anything quickly. He's not interested at all in starting over. But of course, the Aries moon gives us that urge to get our emotional independence from dependent relationships that have perhaps limited us in the past. Now, Friday, the Aries moon slips into Taurus after lunchtime, Pacific U.S. time. And that Taurus moon is going to then run right into the god of lightning, both of them in Taurus, and make a beautiful aspect with Saturn in an earthy Capricorn. So talk about a day to really be a pioneer, get things done, and do it in an organized way. Boy, Friday is great for that. And that will go on into Saturday, which is the day of our third quarter moon, crisis point and turning point. And what I think we're having here is, well, what I've already mentioned, which is number one, be your own whistleblower. Tell on yourself, right? And if you want to, tell everybody you know. After all, we really do read each other, whether we want to admit it or not. Things we think are secret, everybody's picking up on it, right? Especially now because we're all so wide awake. So the turning point and crisis point on Saturday is about cutting away, pruning away, whatever you're hanging on to in ideas or beliefs about your project, about your goals, your life, that really are not true for you. Now, Sunday, that's our glow and shine day when we feel the warmth and comfort of how much we are loved and how much we love. And it's going to be lovely because we have the Taurus moon for most of the day. And that Taurus moon is still in in a beautiful trine, in this case with Pluto, with Venus, and also with Mars. So this kind of harmony, you may feel like just sitting back and doing nothing, and by all means, it's a great day to do that. But this also gives you loads of creative energy. So use that, right? Now, remember Mercury is retrograde, so we are looking within. And just a reminder, Mercury's retrograde in Leo, so traveling with the Leo sun right now, and is retrograde from July 25th to August 18th. And because of this, we have this long, long stay of Mercury roaring in the lion-hearted Leo. Now, next week, I'm going to talk with you about the upcoming and third eclipse. It will be a solar eclipse in Leo, and it is a perfect echo of the great American eclipse of last August. So, how beautiful is that? And speaking of beautiful, I want to share a quote from the Dalai Lama that I think really applies for us now. And he said, "People exist to be loved. Objects exist to be used. The world is in chaos because these things are the other way around." So let's try to get ourselves right side up and enjoy the week. That's all for now, and see you next time. Bye.